This video is about to get very surgical. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm about to put belt to ass. I hate the fact that it had to be an elder because I respect my elders. But in reality, Micheal don't got no excuses, bruh. You a professor, you a minister, you an author. A bunch of things where typically people would look at that and say, because of all of that, I respect your perspective even more because you're educated. But in reality, all you proving to me is that all the qualifications, all of the plaques, all the certificates do not mean that you know what you're talking about. Because it's 2026 and you trying to convince people that Not Like Us was about dark skins versus light skins. And don't worry about it. We finna break this down to the molecule, step by step. Before we get to that, like, comment, and subscribe, right? If you don't want to subscribe yet, subscribe if you like the video, okay? Also, thank you to everybody for showing the love and support to my new single. I'm finna put it in the pinned comments for everybody that ain't caught on yet. Catch on, because people loving it. You feel what I'm saying? On top of that, thank y'all for all the birthday wishes, but I do want to tell y'all, I was just kidding. I am not 43, okay? But enough of that laughing. You feel what I'm saying? Let's get to the OG screen, all right? Micheal Eric Dyson scolds Kendrick Lamar for trying to de-black Drake. Imagine that not being the worst thing in the article. The author and the academic compared Not Like Us to what? Trump immigration policies. Yeah, this is about to get, okay. 2 years after the release of Grammy-winning Kendrick Lamar's single, Not Like Us, Micheal Eric Dyson is scolding the rapper for trying to revoke Drake's black card on the track. The author and academic appeared on the Tuesday episode of podcast More Stories and reflected on a chart-topping Not Like Us, plus the beef between Kendrick and Drizzy. In his argument, Dyson compared K-Dot questioning Drake's blackness to President Donald Trump profiling immigrants. Oh my goodness. Around the 12-minute mark of the episode, Dyson called both rappers brilliant and ingenious before calling out their distinctions. Most people would acknowledge Kendrick as genius, but not Drake, right? He continued. Drake is commercially viable. He's a monster. He sells records. But is he as deep? Drake is being indicted by Kendrick Lamar, implicitly and explicitly. Not Like Us is a perfect anthem for the present president. The author explained that he attended last year's Super Bowl when Kendrick headlined a halftime show and said he didn't see a major difference between the track and the theme of Trump's presidency. Oh my God. Then he says this, and this is the part where he messes up and exposes himself. You are not like us. You are Somalian, Ethiopian, blah, 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 whatever, fill in the blank. You are Haitian, boom, boom, boom. And so to me, that very theme, forget the song is the song, whatever you think about it. But the notion itself is a man distinction, a big distinction, us versus them. And they're trying to de-black Drake. Number one, who is they? Because to me, that sounds like you talking about the culture. That's what it sounds like to me. Who is they? Right? Neither here nor there. If this song really, right, and I want y'all to clip this up because they post on a lot of propaganda. So go ahead and clip this up too. If this song is really, right, a song that represents Donald Trump's presidency, a song that aligns with Donald Trump's presidency, it wouldn't inspire the people that you are referencing to revolt against their government, right? It wouldn't inspire the immigrants of the world, right? The people who are not of the American soil. It wouldn't inspire them to revolt against their country to make a difference, right? There's no way. There's no way a song that represents Donald Trump and the Trump presidency, right? The Trump administration or any administration in the American system, right? There's no way a song like that would inspire the same countries that are under our foot to revolt against their government. Governments that we probably helped put in place. No way, right? There's no way that's possible, right? I hate to break it to you, right? This is going to be tough. Rolling Stone put out an article in 2024, and this is only one of the countries that were impacted, right, by this song. How Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us helped young Kenyans lead a successful protest in their country. That's the song that reminds you of Donald Trump? The song that is inspiring people to revolt against their government? That's the song that inspires you against? Huh. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine a song that represents Donald Trump and his administration inspiring revolt around the world. I can't. That's crazy. Local rapper Sabi Wu sampled Kendrick Lamar's diss track to write an anthem opposing the Kenyan government's tax bill. Wow. Now you tell me, where is Donald Trump inspiring, right, revolt anywhere worldwide, especially a country that we got our foot on? Where is Donald Trump inspiring that? Can you tell me? Because if that's a representation of Donald Trump's presidency, there's no way that this would happen, right? I'm just asking. We can't even read the whole article, but this little bit will give you an understanding of what's going on. Like many African countries colonized in the 20th century, Kenya has struggled to find its diplomatic footing in the decades since gaining independence. The East African nation successfully broke away from British rule in 1962, and a small circle of affluent and influential Kenyans took over. They banked on their connections to boom, boom, boom. Okay? Now, what I'm confused about is if this is the song that's supposed to represent this Trump presidency, why is it doing something that the Trump presidency wouldn't want taking place? And fuck the Trump presidency, an American government wouldn't want to take place. We've seen the American government overthrow independent regimes for shit just like this. Go in and establish their own government. Knock off the person that was running the government and put in their own system to run the government. That's what we've seen happen based on stuff like this. So what benefit would Donald Trump get from this? I'm just wondering. And if you can educate me, feel free. But you used immigrants. You used people who, the Ethiopians, the Mexicans, all these different types of people who are, first of all, not really immigrants, all of them. They're not all immigrants, right? But some of them are, and in the media light, they will like them or label them as immigrants. There's no way that these songs would inspire those people if this was something to be compared to the Trump presidency. You sound crazy. Respectfully, you sound crazy. That's one thing debunked. Now, another thing I'm curious about is that if that's how you felt about the Not Like Us song, what did you feel about always rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed? Did that remind you of Donald Trump? Did that remind you of the people who think that way? Did that remind you of the people who call this art form slave music, Rosa Parks music, civil rights music, all this different stuff? Did that remind you of that? Why you ain't speak on that? Was there no problem with that line? If there wasn't no problem, why not? I'm just curious. Just wondering. Because from my perspective, there seems like some type of bias or allegiance going on here. Because if you were to call this out and break down Not Like Us in that way, right? How the hell did you not do that for Drake? On top of that, how could it possibly be that if we talking about the third verse? That's actually giving a quick history lesson on the process of the colonizer by using Drake as an example. I'm just curious. Let's keep going though. Right? Dyson added that Kendrick was reducing blackness to Compton and that black Canadians fled America to escape the iron tyranny of enslavement. Now, where the hell did you get the idea that Kendrick Lamar was reducing blackness to Compton? Are you dumb? I'm just wondering. Because there ain't nowhere in the song where he's implying that. It's nowhere in the song where he's saying that you have to be from Compton to be black. Are you crazy? I'm confused. Where did you get that from? I can't even break that down because it's not saying that in the song. Why? Because the beat sound like that and because he talking like that? What if Kendrick is just black and from Compton? What about that? What about that? If anything, Drake has more lyrics about black Americans in a bad light than Kendrick has lyrics about Canadians in a bad light. Went and chained you like American slaves? Always rapping like you trying to get the slaves freed? Where's your criticism for Drake talking about the country that you live in? Since you care so much. We'll move on to the next thing. His daddy is black. He went to Memphis every summer. The Memphis Horns fill his music, the first albums Drake made. His grandmama babysat Aretha Franklin, and his uncle was Larry Graham from Sly the Family Stone. Dyson said of the 5-time Grammy winner, what black card he got to show. Now, the thing that I'm curious about, right, is, once again, you are trying to say that because Drake has family that has history in black music, that he didn't try to colonize the hip-hop form, right? And actually, hold on. You actually speak on the colonizer part here, but this is where it ends. But you had a problem with the colonizer part. Let's look at the definition of colonizer. A country that sends settlers to a place and establishes political control over it. Huh. Don't Drake got a line saying, how you let me run it down here? I'm not even from around here? Ain't that him flexing on a black American art form? Ain't that him flexing on black Americans? Is it not? So even in Drake's perspective, he recognizes himself as somebody that is technically an outsider, right? That's his perspective. However other people feel about it, that's one thing. That's his perspective. I would never go to Africa and try to act like just because I'm black, I understand the nuances of living in Africa. You know why? Because I don't live in Africa, nigga. I also wouldn't make a song going to Africa talking about, yeah, I'm from America, but I'm running this shit. You know why? Because that sounds like Christopher Columbus. I ain't even from the Americas, but it's my shit now. So Drake feels that way about himself. Mr. Professor, Minister. Drake feels that way about himself. Drake is the one buying up a whole bunch of hip-hop memorabilia to threaten to burn it down. And I'll melt the chains from your boss and all this different stuff. That's Drake. Not buying it because he love it, buying it to flex, buying it to destroy. Just like America did when they went to Iraq and raided the goddamn Sumerian temples. Where is all that information at? It's gone. I'm just wondering. Just wondering. That sounds like colonizer behavior to me. And that's according to Drake himself, buddy. Okay? Now let's keep moving forward. All right? Now, actually, we don't even got to go back to that. Now, another thing that I'm curious about is why don't you have a problem with the way Drake was approaching the battle? You don't have a problem with Drake using Tupac's voice and using Snoop Dogg in order to attack an entire region. You had no problem with that. There's no issue with that, right? And that's where I become confused. Also, I know you're going to point to lyrics like, we don't want to hear you say nigga no more, right? But is that because he's taking his black card or because he thinks doesn't sound natural saying it? I'm just wondering. Because earlier in that same song, he says, I even hate when you say the word nigga, but that's just me, I guess. Some shit just cringeworthy. It don't even gotta be deep. He's telling you himself it don't gotta be deep. It's just cringy when you say it. Is that taking away his black card? Is there not a portion of black people who don't even use the word? Is there not a whole generation of people who look down on people who use the word? Are they no longer black? I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Okay? Also, when we have the bars of him talking about what's it called? Homie still doubled down calling us some slaves. Then he gives you the message on colonialism, right? Is that not a response to what Drake said? Isn't that just a response to what Drake said? So in order to acknowledge what Kendrick said, you are forced to acknowledge what Drake said. But you won't do that. Huh. I wonder why. Last time I checked, in reality, I can't tell you what it's like to be a black Canadian because I don't live in Canada. Right? Of course I can relate to a black person because we black, but I can't relate to what they grew up in unless I live there. Right? There are certain things we can relate to, but you got a different lot of things, different governments around the world from black people. You got different perspectives, different spirituality, different religion, different come up, different expectation, different all types of shit. Different, like everything's different. So therefore, I would have to go there and learn it to understand it. That's me recognizing that, yes, while I am black, I technically am an outsider when I step into Africa. I could become accustomed to Africa and all this different stuff, but I still was not born there and didn't live there for enough time to really understand the culture. So respectfully, I will understand that. And I don't need to be like, oh, wait, no. No. I will go there, do my due diligence, do my research, learn about the culture, learn about what's going on. You know why? Because I wasn't born there to understand it. The same way all these different countries worldwide look at us and they take the idea of what we're doing, but they don't understand the nuances of what we're doing. And that's okay to an extent. Right? When you look at K-pop and all that, a lot of that is just black culture wrapped up in Japanese culture or Korean culture. That's it. And typically we be so inclusive and so cool with people doing it that it's not a problem. But when somebody call it out, it becomes a problem. Now I want to say, I don't think you're being genuine. I would argue that this is probably connected to something deeper than just you giving your perspective, especially when we find out where it dropped. But we'll talk about that another time, right? Because I think there's a whole lot more to this conversation that's being left out. But this is just a breakdown of the surface level. None of your points make sense. They all fraudulent. They all fraud. And it looked like it's coming from a place of you being offended more than you having a genuine breakdown of it. Because where are the facts? Right? Where's the genuine perspective that makes sense? Nowhere. And I'm not going to lie. We can make this video 40 minutes and keep cooking you. I can keep cooking you. I might go live and keep cooking you later. I might go live multiple times this week and fry you. Because this is bullshit. You are the educator becoming educated now. Just because you got a certificates and all that, don't mean you know how to break down this rap thing. You don't know what's going on. You don't even understand that it's a battle. And somebody went below the belt first. You don't even understand none of that. So how the hell are you supposed to understand what Kendrick really meant? And ain't no way he reducing blackness to Compton if the world is being infected with this song in this way. So where it's not only going crazy, right, but it's leading revolts around the world. Something Donald Trump would never approve of, by the way. So you know what? I'm going to leave it at that, even though there's a lot more to talk about. I'm going to leave it at that because I do want to upload this video on time. So I'm going to leave it at that. But just know, this might just be part one, man. Because I feel like I need to get... There's more to talk about. So much more. We kept it light on this one. We just want to break down everything with the facts and the realities. Just because you don't know how to break down lyrics don't mean that, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about your certificates and your plaques. This is a different education, nigga. This a different way of doing things. Simple. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here, and we're going to keep talking about this. Look, I'm glad we brought the rants back because a lot of niggas playing right now. It's a lot of bullshit out there right now. I hope y'all clip a lot of this stuff up. Post it on Twitter, post it on TikTok, put it out there because they pushing that narrative. Let's push this. And support your other YouTubers that's speaking on this and breaking this down too. You feel what I'm saying? But anyway, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. I'm going to catch y'all, man.